College football is back, and we're back live on the Big Mountain.
Hey, welcome back to another live episode of The Big Mountain. I see Steven, J-E-H, Big Mama, Mike the Michael, Moses already in the chat saying hello. They're getting things going. We've got a lot of homecomings happening here. I see Steven saying it's homecoming in Athens, Ohio. I'll be picking the game with the Bobcats versus the Huskies. That's the last game we'll pick on the night, so I'm going to hold Steven in suspense. Right now we have a live game on, just like last week. Yep. UTEP is playing again live on a Wednesday night. I'm wearing my UTEP shirt. I'm drinking my UTEP Dweller Brew in hopes that they get another win on the season because they only have one right now, Steve.
Yeah. So everybody out there, you need to keep us updated on. Hopefully Malachi Nelson doesn't have any. If he's playing, he doesn't have any interceptions tonight.
Malachi Nelson was not the starting quarterback last week, and he is not the starting quarterback this week. Wow. They went back to Skylar Locklear, the kid that I was hoping was going to be the starter anyway, because I think I like the kid.
He's more ready right now.
I think, and he's young too.
Yeah.
But, last week was his first game starting for the season. And last I checked, UTEP is up 14-10.
Ooh.
Skylar Locklear has a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So I'm a Locklear fan. I mean, nothing against Malachi, but I'm a Locklear fan.
Isn't it funny? A quarterback is such a strange position of, you can have a 5-star guy and like a 2 or 3-star guy, and one player can have all the physical tools in the world, but if you can't put it together, to win games, then what does it matter?
For sure. I see Bill, both Bills, that college football guy Bill and Surf City Bill, are both in the house. Las Vegas, Larry, happy hump day, fellas and ladies. Great to have you, Las Vegas, Larry. I'll be sure to get you guys out here where I'm going to be in Vegas here in another week and a half. Maybe we can meet up with some of our people.
Yeah.
Some of our dwellers. All right, Steve. About a half an hour ago, I just got really tired.
Oh, man. This is going to fire you up, though.
Don't worry. I'll get one minor brew, and my good friend Steve is going to have me ready to play some football.
I'm going to have to make you laugh tonight like I did when we were in the press box at the Naval Academy.
We may have gotten a shush in the Naval Academy press box. When JY laughs, he gets a little loud.
Yes, he does.
My son and I were talking about that earlier because we'll be at Tarleton State, and my son goes, "Are you going to laugh like you always do?" And I'm like, "You mean like really loud?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well,
hopefully not.
It's just who I am."
Yeah. And let's be honest about it. I have a little talent for getting you to do the ha-has.
We've known each other for a while. I think we both can sometimes, we know which areas we can go to get a giggle. Mm-hmm. Or for me, very loud laugh. Yes, that would be it. All right, Steve, we've got 9 Big Ten picks, no other picks.
Yeah.
I guess FSU and Clemson are both on buys.
They're not. I think we want to
screw them.
Well, I really wanted to focus on the Big Ten this week and look at the games and stuff. So maybe we'll be back next week with some other picks.
All right. So 9 Big Ten picks for you. I have 6 or 7 Mountain West picks, a couple over unders. Going back to that well this week. And I've got 3 other picks. I've got the Washington State game, the UTEP game, and the NIU game. I don't have a line for the Oregon State game because they're playing Lafayette. Mm-hmm. But maybe they'll get their first win on the season with a new head coach playing Lafayette. So, all right, Steve, let's start with the 9 Big Ten games.
Yeah, so first of all, right, I think it's Friday night, Nebraska traveling to Minnesota. Nebraska is a 7.5-point favorite. I hate the line, honestly. I was really hoping for like a 5.5, whatever, because I think Nebraska probably is about a touchdown better. But Minnie's so good at like playing small ball, keeping the score close, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So I'm going to take Nebraska to cover the 7.5, but I don't feel great about it. Definitely not enough. I don't think I'll bet this game, and definitely not enough to lock it. But I mean, both teams. Nebraska's played pretty well.
Yeah.
They had that loss to Michigan, and what they were susceptible to was basically just the ground and pound game, the running game, keeping it like that. And I think Minnesota can kind of match them for that kind of stuff. And then you have Dylan Raiola. He's been playing pretty well, improvement from last year.
Yeah.
I really like Minnie's quarterback, though, Lindsey. He's been improving. Another young guy. I think he's either a true freshman or a redshirt freshman.
Okay.
So I think this close. I think Nebraska gets the win, but I think it's probably less than a touchdown. It's a close game, like a 2 field goal, 5 to 6 point game somehow. But we'll see. That's really why I'm not locking it. Is because I think there's a good chance it's just under the 7.
Okay.
But they could surprise me, win by 10 points. Who knows? So I'm taking Nebraska to cover the 7.5, but I'm not confident about it at all. I'd much rather if it was like 5.5.
Right. I hear you. You're going to hear me say that with honestly, a lot of the lines with the Mountain West, they're pretty good lines.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's kind of like you could kind of go either way, and you're going to hear me say that as well. It's a pretty good line that Vegas has at this point in the season. They're probably getting a better tell than they had clearly in the beginning of the season. But you know what I didn't do? Maybe we can back up real quick and just throw up our stats real quick. I got to put that on my notes so I don't forget. But you did well last week, Steve. You went 2-0 on your locks.
Yep.
It was Iowa and the 3.5 Iowa line. They just covered that by a smidgen by what was it, 31 points
yes,
or something
that line
like
was
that?
Ridiculous.
Unbelievable. And then you had another. Was it Washington Rutgers?
I think.
Yes.
Yep.
And I had money on both of those. I don't know why I didn't pound the Iowa line even more because that was just absurd. But well done, 2-0 on your locks. Yep. And you're back. You're almost to 500 on your locks, Steve. You're 10 out of 21, which I know is low for you, but you dug yourself a pretty good hole early on, and you are coming back with it.
My goal with locks is I always shoot for trying to be 70%, about 70 to 75%. So I'm behind still, but I'm on a good streak with locks, and if I keep on that streak, I should get back to that point by the end of the season.
I'm going to knock on wood for you.
Yeah.
In terms of the streets, as people know, I've kind of given up on the locks.
Yeah.
I know you said I'd go back to it, but maybe someday, this year, next year, I don't really know. But I went 2 out of 6. I was 2 and 4 in my spread picks with the Mountain West. So kind of a down week for me last week. Had some upsets. Obviously, that Fresno State game was very, very interesting. You, I think, what were you, maybe 5 and 3, I think, on your spread picks last week, if I remember.
Yeah.
Something like that. So anyway, there they are. We like to keep ourselves honest, and we'll keep putting this up.
Yeah, I want to talk about one real quick. I picked Indiana plus 7.5.
Yes.
They didn't need those points at all.
Right.
And I don't usually give money lines, and I actually meant last week to say, hey, I think this is a good one for money line.
Sure.
I bet the money line. I think I sent it to you. So that worked out fantastic. So I'm going to try and be. I'm not an official pick, but maybe tell our audience when I think, hey, this might be one you want to put some money on the money line.
The underdog money line pick is what you're talking about.
Yes,
for sure. All right. Well, there they are. We like to stay honest. Sorry, Steve, I interrupted you. You're now going to the Washington at Michigan game. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in this game. And it should be a pretty good game, I think. It's a fairly low spread. You finally have games that are low spreads, right?
Yes.
You've been waiting for this for a little while. So what are we doing here with Washington, Michigan?
Well, I just want to say, so last week, Michigan has been a hard team. I was down on them early in the season. Bryce Underwood's played pretty well when they unleash him. They still kind of got that ground and pound going. They had that close loss to Oklahoma. They got a nice win over Nebraska. Last week, I took USC to cover the points, and USC got a nice win over them. But Michigan's back in the big house, hosting Washington. I've been high on Washington all year. They did have that loss to Ohio State. They kept it close for a while, but Ohio State just had too much, basically too much depth. Wore them down towards the end. But for me, I think this is a really, really good matchup. Michigan is a 5.5 point favorite in the big house. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that is due to the location and the name of Michigan. I think this is a complete toss-up game. Mm. I think Washington has the talent to go in and get the win. But at the same time, if Michigan can, kind of like the Nebraska game, if they can keep this to a ground and pound game, they can win this game. I think it's more of a coin flip. So I'm taking Washington plus the 5.5. I heavily considered locking this.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet Washington and take the 5.5 points because, again, I think this is just a coin flip game, even being in Ann Arbor. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think that you were on Washington preseason. You told people that this was going to be a team to watch out for. And so I probably did more preseason betting than I've ever done. Yeah. Because, in the preseason, they'll have these games that go out a while, and then as soon as the season starts, they drop them. You can't get them anymore.
Yep.
So I was able to get Washington, and I'll have to look at the date when I got this, probably late August. I got Washington plus 10.5. So
love it.
getting, double digits,
Yes.
I really like it a lot. And I totally get it that you're taking Washington plus 5. Yeah, It's, like I said, I think it's going to be a good game.
I
so
agree.
let's keep it within a touchdown.
Yeah.
For you,
Yeah.
less than a touchdown. But for
Yes.
me, let's keep it in a touchdown, and I'll be
good.
very happy.
Yeah, and if I could get it for 10.5 right now, I
Yeah.
definitely would have locked
Yeah,
it.
right, sure, right, yeah.
And honestly, if I could get it, and maybe the line changes, who knows? But
Right.
if I could get it, and sometimes they offer alternate lines.
Yes.
Over the touchdown mark, I
Yeah.
would definitely have locked it. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah. So this week, so I'm taking Washington plus the 5.5.
Okay.
All right, moving right along. The next game, not nearly as exciting. Purdue at Northwestern. Purdue coming off of that. I mean, Northwestern coming off of that nice win at Penn State in Happy Valley that got James Franklin fired. Part of the reason. They've been feisty this year. They played feisty against Oregon earlier in the season. The end of the game, Oregon, more talent, closed it out and I think came up short of covering that week. But they've been feisty this season. Purdue has as well. But honestly, I got to go with Northwestern here. I'm taking Northwestern to cover the 3.5 points. I'm not locking it. I think that this game is probably 3 to 7 points. It's going to be right around there. So I'm taking Northwestern to cover the 3.5. They're on a little bit of a roll. They got some talent there. Would it surprise me if Purdue end up winning this in a close game? No, not at all. But I'm gonna go ahead and take Northwestern minus 3.5, but I'm not locking it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I'm with you. Northwestern, again, they're just kind of doing more with less. That's what they typically do. Had that big win at Penn State, so they got to be, feeling pretty good about themselves. They seem to play pretty well at home in their, as you call it, high school stadium right now, or
practice stadium next to the lake. Yeah.
So it should be a good game there for these two teams that are in the bottom half of the Big Ten, but good matchup.
Yeah, good opportunity for either of them to get a well, in Northwestern's case, another Big Ten win. I don't think Purdue has gotten a Big Ten win yet, if I can remember. Okay, so moving right along, Michigan State at Indiana. Indiana just went into Autzen Stadium and honestly physically manhandled Oregon, played really, really well. I think the score, they won by 10 points. That's double digits. That's a nice win, Oregon.
Sure.
But honestly, I don't even think the score really reflects the game. Close your ears, JH, but... Oh, actually, no, he'll be happy with this one.
He's loving this.
He'll be happy. I'm sure
Keep
he was
going.
happy to see
Pile
that.
on, he's saying.
And Oregon's still a good team, still a very good team at the top. But Indiana, to me, I think Indiana should be the number one team in the country. I know you told me I need to slow my roll with that a little bit, but
I don't think I said it like that.
well, something to that extent. But to me, they are playing absolutely amazing. I don't know. Maybe in the SEC there's just a win I don't know about.
Yeah.
But a win like this, going into Autzen Stadium, beating the Ducks by 10 plus points. I don't know if there's another team in the country that has that kind of win. And then when you match that up with beating the absolute dog snot out of Indiana,
Right.
Illinois, the way they did.
Yes.
But anyways, I don't think Michigan State has near the firepower, which I think JH will like that, to go in and do anything whatsoever with Indiana. I'm kind of surprised. I thought this game would be about 30 points, just the difference in these teams. So I'm taking Indiana to cover 27.5 points. That's a lot.
It is.
I've decided that I'm not going to do locks over 30 points just because this is close, but Indiana has just played so well. So I'm taking Indiana to cover the 27.5 points, and I'm making this my first Big Mountain Ice Cold lock.
Wow. Well, JEH now loves Indiana because they went into Autzen and won. And Steven agrees with you. He thinks Indiana crushes by 35. So he's with you that they cover the spread here by a touchdown. They're rolling. Absolutely, they're rolling. And at this point, they've played the two hardest on paper, right? Teams in their schedule. They still have one more left up. I feel like they've played the two hardest teams. Right?
Well, as of right now, what based on the results now they have. Okay. Now coming into, they still have Penn. They're traveling to Penn State. So if you look at them at the beginning of the season, but yes, they have a clear path to at least 11-1, but probably should end up 12-0 unless they really have a breakdown.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, there's our first Big Mountain Ice Cold lock, and I have a feeling Steve's not done.
I'm not done. My next one, Ohio State at Wisconsin. Again, Wisconsin, they're right up there for one of the worst teams in the Power Four, for sure. Ohio State just has so much talent. And, as Julian's saying, gets more time, more playing time, more experience, and all of that kind of stuff throughout the season. He just keeps getting better and better. Ohio State is playing in Wisconsin, in Madison,
Right.
which traditionally has a tough place to play, but not really under Luke Fickell. So the line, Ohio State's only 25.5 point favorites. This is another one that I thought would be over 30.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Ohio State to cover the 25.5 points, and I'm making this another Big Mountain ice cold lock.
Well, Iowa just smoked them 31-0.
Yes.
I mean, if that's any indication, little surprising that the line with Ohio State is only 25.5. So, yeah, I hear you. I mean, I know you have typically shied away from big lines, but you're taking the big boys in the country, not just the Big Ten, Indiana, Ohio State, two of the top teams, to kind of beat much weaker teams, especially in the case of Wisconsin here, to really take it to them.
And this is a small travel game. Like I could see this line, if they were going out, let's say going across the country to UCLA, with UCLA playing a lot better now.
Right.
But I was just shocked honestly at this line. I can't believe it's not over 30. So.
I agree. Vegas seems to be giving something to Wisconsin.
I have no.
I don't know.
Everybody's giving the business to Wisconsin, apparently.
Okay. I didn't say the business.
Well
played, sir. All right, let's keep right on going here.
So here's another surprising one. You're going to see a consistent theme here. Oregon. Now, this is a big travel game. Oregon going across the country to Piscataway to play Piscataway, New Jersey, to play Rutgers. Oregon is only a 17.5 point favorite, and I totally get it. I'll give you a touchdown for having to travel from Eugene to Piscataway.
Sure.
Okay, well,
you just love saying that.
To Piscataway.
Yes,
it's a cool word.
I know.
So, anyways, I say you remove 7 points over what you think Oregon is capable of scoring against Rutgers. Well, to me, that still takes it to about 30 points. They're only 17.5 point favorite, so I'm taking Oregon to cover that 17.5, and I'm making this a Big Mountain ice cold lock. I really think Vegas is knocking Oregon down too much due to that loss to Indiana, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Oregon has shown, they traveled to Happy Valley and beat Penn State in overtime.
Right.
They're still a really solid team. And really, except for the Indiana game, Dante Moore has been fantastic this year. Yeah. Didn't take him nearly as long to get to this point that I thought he would.
Right.
He's played very efficient, except for in one game where that Indiana defensive line just beat the crap out of them. Rutgers does not have any players on the defensive side of the ball, the front seven, that I think are comparable to Indiana's players and can do anything like that. I think Oregon, absolutely, they're going to be pissed off. They just lost a game. That was their first loss, basically, in Big Ten play.
Right.
They lost in the playoffs to Ohio State. But this is the first time they lost an actual Big Ten game.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So and we're halfway through their second season in the Big Ten. I think they're going to go in there pissed off.
Okay.
I think the travel may affect them a little bit. And again, take a touchdown off. But I think they're still going to beat Rutgers by 25-plus points.
Okay.
And that's why I locked this game. It's for them to cover 17.5.
Okay. Well, John's in the house. Hopefully, John doesn't have to wake up in 6 hours like he did a week ago. But I am watching who he's picking, and you and him are agreeing quite a bit this week. He liked the Washington pick. He liked the Oregon pick. He liked the Indiana pick. And so far, I see him agreeing with you quite a bit. And, of course, JEH disagrees with you.
Of course, yeah.
And so does, actually, Surf City Bill. He's laughing at his pick, but he's saying Rutgers by 10.
Yeah, okay.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he's just trying to make JEH feel a little better.
That might be it. I think he's trying to help out his dweller bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next game, Maryland at UCLA. This is
my phone's talking to me.
Yeah,
it's
so
like, why does it do this?
I think Siri maybe is just like she's trying to become part of.
It says dweller. She wants to be a dweller.
Even Siri wants to be a dweller.
Siri, shut up. Okay.
So this next one, if we would have talked about this game preseason, we would have said this is going to be a crap game. We don't care about this game, who wins or loses or whatever. But we've got Maryland traveling across the country to UCLA, to Westwood to play at UCLA. UCLA is a 3.5 point favorite. But before I tell you my pick, I do want to. I mean, we're at a position. Obviously, UCLA. They start 0-4, fire their coach.
Right.
They're on a 3-game win streak. They're playing great. Maryland, with Malik Washington, has played a respectable season in the Big Ten, better than I thought. So they are going across the country. I think Vegas sees this basically as a toss-up game. They're giving UCLA the 3.5 points.
Right.
Just as a, okay, you're at home and Maryland's traveling across the country too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take UCLA to
Yeah.
cover that 3.5 points. And honestly, I think they probably beat Maryland by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The way their offense, I mean, they just beat the crap out of Michigan State
Right.
recently. They had that nice win over Penn State. Their offense really is what has changed, and their offense is fantastic. It's flowing. I think Maryland, a young quarterback, freshman quarterback who's played well this season, going across the country, playing in UCLA. Well, actually, they play in Pasadena, but at the Rose Bowl.
Nobody goes to their games.
Yeah, nobody used to go to their games.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what it looks like this week. I mean, a team that's on a 3-game winning streak, who's scoring tons of points.
Okay.
Everyone's excited about their offensive coordinator, Jerry Neuheisel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic. So we'll see. Maybe instead of a 8th filled stadium, they'll have a half filled stadium, which would be nice. It is what it is, but I think there's going to be a lot of excitement out there, and I think it's going to be a tough road travel for Malik Washington, freshman quarterback from Maryland. I think UCLA easily covers the 3.5. I considered locking this as well, but I didn't. But I think UCLA probably wins by 7 to 10 points.
John agrees.
Maybe 2 touchdowns.
Steven agrees. Mike agrees. Tommy agrees. Big Mama agrees and says lock it. You're not, but
Not quite.
You're
I
close.
really was close.
I hear you, and I know why. Okay, Surf City Bill agrees. I know why UCLA now looks really good. I know why. It has nothing to do with the coaching thing.
Okay, what is it?
They don't have to play the Mountain West anymore.
Well, there you go.
They finally get into the easier Big Ten schedule.
Exactly.
They don't have to play the Mountain West, and that's what happens to them.
Instead of traveling to San Jose State, they only had to go out to Happy Valley, and actually they didn't go that. They went to, I think, Michigan State. So
they only had
big difference.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Well, next game. This one close to the heart for me. Penn State traveling to Iowa. Iowa, especially night games, it's kind of been murderer's row for teams going in there. They're always tough at home, so especially at night. And obviously, Penn State has not played well at all this season. I said after last week, I picked them to cover Northwestern. I said if they don't come close to covering or don't beat Northwestern, I'm picking against them the rest of the season. So I'm taking Iowa minus 2.5. And honestly, we'll see, because you never know when a coach is fired,
right.
And you might get those couple games out of
Yes.
a team where we're rallying together or whatever. So you never know. And I'm not locking this game at all. I'm just picking Iowa to cover the 2.5. But if the same Penn State team that's been so just tight and just out of rhythm and all that stuff shows up, I think it could be a lot worse than this. So I'm taking Iowa to cover the 2.5.
Yeah, well, and not only do they not have their coach, they don't have their starting quarterback.
Yeah, good point.
And so, yeah, I mean, you look at this, and there's always that. I mean, again, look at UCLA. They make a coaching change. They ask the offense to do some different things, and now they're going off the rails.
Yeah.
Like they maybe could have from the beginning. I'm not saying that's going to happen at Penn State, especially with the quarterback sitch.
Yeah.
But you don't know. That's
Right,
kind of that
there's
wild
so much
card.
uncertainty,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't lock it.
Yeah, for sure. But the line itself, based on recent history of these two teams, is I think it's far too close.
Yeah.
But you just don't know.
Tommy Gunn says that he heard Dan Mullen to Penn State. I saw Dan Mullen put out a statement that he will definitely be back at UNLV next year. He didn't say anything longer than he said next year.
Which is what every coach says right now in the middle of a season, for crying out loud.
Or they say I'm not willing to talk about it or whatever. I'm not thinking about that right now. I don't think you usually get that, but
okay.
He definitively said no. I will be here next year. Count on it. And honestly, everything that I've been paying attention to, he's not listed as a candidate for Penn State. So I don't think UNLV fans should be that worried. I think he'll stay for at least year 2 of this, and then if he has SEC teams or whatever calling him again, that'll be hard to turn down. But
yeah. Okay, I agree. I had that written down.
Oh, did you?
Well, yeah, but that's fine. You got it.
Sorry.
I have a couple things we're going to talk about.
All right,
but that was one of them, so I'll just cross it out.
Okay, so my last game, which this is probably the biggest game of the weekend, only involves one Big Ten team, but another team that we've been talking about, different connections with the Big Ten. So USC traveling to South Bend to play Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 9.5 point favorite. I think that's absolutely crazy.
I agree.
I think Notre Dame is a really good, solid team. They're not, to me, they're not as good as they were last year because their defense isn't as good.
Yeah.
Jordan Love's racking up. I mean, they got a running game, they got an offense, but their defense to me is, especially in the secondary, is not quite as good as it was.
Yeah.
USC, man, to me, they're just firing on all cylinders. Their defense is playing great. Their running game is strong. Maeva, man, he's just picking defenses apart.
Yeah.
Very smooth, very comfortable, very confident, playing at a very high level. I love USC getting the 9.5 points. So I'm taking USC plus 9.5. And this is a game we were talking about last week.
Yes.
That you really should consider putting some money. Look at the money line and putting some money on there. But I love USC getting 9.5. Considered locking it, but it's not a true Big Ten game, so I decided not to. But I really like USC plus the 9.5.
Well, John and you guys are on target today. He agrees. He also said USC wins, as you said.
I agree.
Look at that money line.
Yep.
I mean, 9.5 points is a lot, but if you like getting those money lines to give you a little bit more, I'm guessing it's 200-ish, 200 plus probably at 9.5 being the spread. So. Yeah, you got some interesting picks here, Steve. And for those interested in anything Notre Dame, we just dropped an episode earlier today about Notre Dame. We're not going to talk about it right now. You can hear what we talked about on that episode if you want to.
Yeah, and I will say I think this is a playoff must-win for both teams. I think Notre Dame. I mean, if Notre Dame wins this game, I think they're going to be in the playoff. USC wins this game, and they have a very, very, very good chance of being in the playoffs. So for me, it's a must win. And we could see one of these teams really put together a nice resume bullet for a playoff spot.
Yeah. Well, nice pick, Steve. I think you had some hard ones, but I also like your locks, and I like the little, floating out some money lines, some underdog money lines there, with possibly the USC pick, and also being close on a lock with UCLA.
Yeah, really close.
Yeah. Real quick, excuse me. I believe JEH was posting about the Beavers coach. He mentioned he's hoping, let me see if I can go back up and find it. He's talking some FCS schools, and he mentioned UC Davis being one, and I can't remember who the other one was. Let me see if I can find it, Steve. I'm sure he'll put it back in the chat because I'm not seeing it right now. I know UC Davis was one that he mentioned.
Yeah.
And there was another, it may have been one of the Montanas, if I'm remembering correctly, but I don't see his chat now for some reason. And so, yeah, we'll watch that. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what they do here moving forward with their head coach. A lot of talent at the FCS level. I mean, you look at the Mountain West, look at both Fresno and New Mexico with Entz and Eck and how things are going there with them. Of course, Entz was 1 year at USC there before coming up. But, yeah, a lot of good talent there. Okay, Montana State. Thanks, JEH. So, Tim Plow for UC Davis, and then the Montana State coach was the other one he was talking about. And I could see that. I mean, I think especially in kind of that western side of the country, the Pacific, the mountain time zones, Pacific Northwest, and especially when you have such strong FCS programs in that area, I think you see that a lot more going on.
I think that's key. I really like this idea in general. I think, especially at this age of the portal and NIL and all that, you can put together. We saw Signetti do this, basically taking JMU team that was recently, they had been FCS, they'd recently moved up, but still the same concept, the G6 team, basically taking the best players, bringing them up, building kind of an all-star, G6 all-star team, and did fantastic and has continued on this year. And I think out west, for the especially a place like Oregon State, would be fantastic. And an FCS coach that knows the talent all out there, spreading these teams, can bring some of his guys, maybe cherry pick. And I think Oregon State would be a very attractive place for those FCS programs out west, because they're on that borderline of being, you can try and sell it as Power 5, whatever. It's definitely a step up for them. And there is, like you said, there's a lot of talent out there in the FCS out west, especially. So I think it's a great idea. I don't know a lot about the particular coaches.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, so that's I can't say this one or that one, but
Right.
but the whole concept,
Yes.
taking a premier coach from a premier FCS program out
Right.
west and making him the head coach at Oregon State would be fantastic.
Yes, no doubt. We'll see what happens this week. As I said, that is a team I can't pick because there's no line being there playing Lafayette.
Big Mama's upset with me. I didn't pick
happened?
Clemson this week. I'm sorry. I really wanted to focus. There's a lot going on for me over the last few days.
You're a busy man.
Yes. And so I really wanted to focus on the Big Ten, getting my picks right. I'm really trying to get back to over 500 on my locks and head towards 70%. But next week I'll be back to picking both Clemson and Florida State.
Well, if you're able to go 2-1, you are 500 on your locks
Perfect.
after this week, and if you can pull out a 3-0er, you are back in the black.
That's where I'm trying to be.
All right, let's go move ahead. Of course, I'm gonna start with the UTEP Sam Houston State game. As you know, it's on live.
Yep.
As I said last week, this was picked before the game started. I picked this afternoon. And I am actually going to be taking, even though I'm representing my minor gear, my minor brew, all of that, I know Sam Houston State hasn't won a damn game yet. UTEP's only won one.
Yeah.
But I do like the way Sam Houston has been playing recently. Mm-hmm. They have Hunter is the last name of I can't remember his first name. The quarterback for Sam Houston, who's a really good talent. I knew UTEP was having these quarterback issues. I saw Locklear come in, who I'm a Locklear fan. I'm glad that he's a starting quarterback for the Miners right now. But I'm going to take the few points with the home dog here, Sam Houston plus 2.5 points. Of course, right now you can see the score. They're not covering, right? They'd be losing that bet right now.
Yep.
But I'm going, maybe this sucker ends up 21-20, 24-23. Yep. So let's. What I really would love to see is UTEP to win the game, but I got the 2 points, so I win the bet.
Yep.
Or win the pick. And at this point, unless you're going to live bet this thing, my pick is kind of irrelevant. Mm-hmm. But I'm still picking every UTEP game, and it is what it is. Like, we do our 8:30 shows, and the game started at 7. So what do you want me to do about it?
I was honestly a little surprised at this line because it is at Sam Houston State. However, Sam Houston State, they play in a literal, it looks like a high school gym that they crammed a football field in. From what I remember from one of the games.
This year they're not at their home stadium.
Yeah.
Their home stadium is basically a high school stadium.
Yeah.
Now they're in like a soccer, some sort of a soccer thingy. It looks like a soccer thingy because, it's in Houston.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it, but it's a soccer stadium.
It looks weird.
Stadium. Because it's a soccer stadium.
Yeah.
And literally, there's no one there.
Right.
I saw Adrian, who I had on the pod earlier this year. He did like a scan. There's nobody there.
Crazy.
I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. But anyway.
Well, I was surprised by the line, even though it's in their home place.
Yeah, right.
Which makes you think that, that... and only being and still being 2.5 point underdogs.
Right.
Because to me, this is a true. To me, I thought this was a true pick'em.
Sure.
One of those games where you could pick both teams to lose potentially. So anyways, I was surprised at the line, but we see the score here, 14-10, and then honestly, that probably seems pretty reasonable. Mm-hmm. This game's probably going to be close, so I definitely understand if you think it's a close game, a 21-20 type thing. Take the 2.5 points.
Right.
I totally get it.
Yeah. And Surf City's Bill is telling us Locklear does have an interception. Not overly surprising. Unfortunately, the Miners quarterback situation isn't great right now, but I am a Locklear fan. I'm hoping he kind of grabs the reins here for the second half of their season. So anyway, let's get to the Mountain West picks.
Yeah.
Friday night game. I think it's a huge game here. San Jose State at Utah State. The winner of this game keeps any sort of Mountain West Championship hopes alive. The loser is not going to make the Mountain West Championship game. And it's kind of odd that we're talking about that with San Jose State right now, a team that I said was going to go undefeated in the Mountain West. Well, they already have one loss in the Mountain West. They're bearing down the face of a potential 2-game losing streak in conference, which is doomed for them if that happens. The line here, 3.5. Both teams come in, as I mentioned on the recap, with kind of some quarterback injury issues. I did listen to Coach Ken's discussion. I believe it was from Tuesday. It was Monday or Tuesday press conference. He said he's very hopeful that both Walker Eget, the quarterback, and Danny Scudero, who had a hand injury in the Wyoming game, both should be able to play. He's hopeful that both will be able to play. As we saw, Walker came in late in the game.
Yep.
So I absolutely think Walker Eget's going to play in this game. And then Bryson Barnes, who's been phenomenal this year for Utah State. He did play at Hawaii, but they did bring in the backup there as well. So, kind of some question marks on the quarterbacks. The line 3.5. I'm going to take the 3.5 points with San Jose State. Yes, I know they're 2-4, could easily be 5-1 if they had somewhat of a kicking game. And, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I get all that. They're 2-4, 100%. They own it. Ken owns it. But they're not a bad 2-4 team. They have a fantastic passing offense. And you kind of saw what happened with the Hawaii game in Utah State. That Hawaii offense was it got to be too much by the end of the game. And I'm going to say the same type of deal happens here with San Jose State. Their offense just becomes, if Eget stays healthy for the game, becomes just too much for Utah State. And I mean, I'm a Wyoming fan, but I can almost guarantee you if Walker Eget was in that game from start to finish,
right,
Wyoming wouldn't have won the game.
Right.
Because they wouldn't have shut out Walker Eget through the last 3 quarters of that game like they did. Yep. And that's my opinion. So I'm going to take the Spartans. I still have hope in this team. I still think they're a very good team. So I'll take the points with them, Steve.
Yeah, it doesn't really surprise me too much. And for San Jose State, I don't think the overall record matters too much. They had those losses out of conference. They're not going to be a CFP team this year. Yeah. So for me, but they're hanging on by a thread, but they still have all their goals for the Mountain West and to get that far. But they have to get this win against you. I would say both teams technically still have a chance, but they have to win this game. It's a must-win game for either team, and I think it's a good. I think it's a good matchup. I think it should be close. I definitely understand. You got that San Jose State offense. If Eget plays the whole time, you got to think that they're going to be able to score more points. So taking them plus getting the extra 3.5 makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the Saturday slate. Wyoming at Air Force. Another close line here. I'm really anxious to see what the Pokes defense can do, or maybe can't do, against a phenomenal offense here for Air Force. I think the Pokes defense is underrated. I know they got 28 put up on them there early against San Jose State, but then they had it figured out before Eget went down, to be very clear. And yeah, I don't think the skill positions at Air Force are as good. They don't have a Danny Scudero. Yep. They're still a very good offensive team. I'm not trying to take away from them, but they don't have that upper end skill level like San Jose State does. And I'm also kind of seeing finally this offense for the Pokes starting to get going. They had some success. They got some touchdowns. John Michael Gillenberg is supposed to be in this game. He's a game changer. That could be huge for the confidence of quarterback Anderson here. So I'm going to go with Wyoming plus 4.5. I mean, you've seen these Air Force games over the last few weeks. They're all field goal games. I mean, they're all very, very high scoring, very close games. So I got to take the points in this game. I kind of came into this going, whoever's going to get the points, if it's substantial, like over a field goal, I kind of have to take the points just because of how these teams have played. And I'm also, Steve, actually going to take the over in this game, 58.5. Air Force, I mean, they're going to score points. There's no doubt about that. And Wyoming, I think, has a strong enough passing game that is going to be going up against the worst pass defense in the country. I just looked at that today. The worst pass defense in the country is Air Force. I think they're able to exploit that. They have the speedster Endure. They have a great young running back in Tote Harris. If they can get John Michael back in, I think they're able to exploit that. We have a big high-scoring game here like Air Force has been playing. So I'm taking the Pokes and the over.
How many points did Wyoming score last week? Against San Jose
35.
35 points against San Jose State. Yeah, I totally get it. I think this is a very interesting game. We've never seen this. I think we're going to see a different game than we've ever seen between Wyoming and Air Force.
Yes.
Wyoming kind of has their offense going a little bit now, and Air Force, especially their pass defense, is just really bad this year.
Yep.
But I do think Air Force, it's so weird because they have a really good offense, mostly focused on the passing game, which is different than before. I agree with you, a high scoring game. I think Air Force is going to be able to score against Wyoming.
Yep.
But I think Wyoming's also going to be able to score. And this might be their like really get right game from a passing standpoint.
Sure, right.
But should allow them to have a pretty balanced offense. So I agree with you, high scoring game. I totally understand why you're taking the team getting 4.5 points, because for me, I think this is a toss-up game.
Sure.
And if you can get one team with a bunch of points, I totally get it. But I'm really interested to see how, maybe we'll all be surprised, and this will be an old-fashioned, old 6-3, Air Force Wyoming game from the past.
Yeah, I mean, asking about Wyoming money line, I'm going to say because we do pick straight bets, I'm picking Wyoming to win the game. I'm taking the points with them on my spread pick, but I will take Wyoming straight up to win the game. And same with San Jose State. I'm taking the 3.5, but I'm going to say San Jose State is able to win that game as well. So while I'm taking points with the dogs, I also like them straight up.
Yep.
You're not going to get the odds like you're going to get on a spread of 9.5 like you had with USC, but
it's still probably okay when you're over that touchdown mark. You might get like a plus 175 or plus 200.
Right. Yep. All right. The game of the week, Steve. We had them twice last year. We had them in the regular season. We had it in the Mountain West Championship game. These two fan bases have been waiting for this. The Rebels fan base, they are just hungry for revenge. UNLV traveling to the Blue in Boise State. The line 12.5. I know we've got UNLV fans in the chat right now. I know we've got Surf City Bill, a Boise fan, in the chat right now. They're all wondering who the heck is JY going to take, especially when the line is 12.5. Cover your ears, UNLV dwellers, because I'm taking the Broncos on the Blue at minus 12.5. I just have too many concerns of the UNLV defense. And I know everybody doesn't like to hear that, and I know everybody wants to tell me they're 6-0 and winning's all that matters, but I just have too many concerns, and I want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I want them to prove me wrong. But for a bet, it's not what I want.
Yeah.
It's using my head, and I'm going to take Boise State minus 12.5. I'm also going to take the over 62.5. I do think this is a high-scoring game. I don't think Boise's going to shut down the UNLV offense. You could see this, kind of really going back and forth there for the first three quarters. I think Boise's able to then just pull away, bear down hard, and win this by, I'm guessing, about 2 touchdowns-ish, 13, 14 points. I mentioned early on that the lines are close for me. This was a close one. Like, this wasn't easy for me to pick. 12.5 points is a lot of points. Especially when you're talking a UNLV team, a Calandria, all they do is come back and win games. But 12.5 points, I'm not looking for the team to come back and win the game by 3. They need to cover, or I'm sorry, Boise needs to cover the 12.5, so that's not exactly what I'm saying. But I have more faith in the Broncos than I have in UNLV, and I know that kills my UNLV dwellers. That's where I'm going. But I do like the over. We got to go over. There's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, I honestly was a little surprised at the line, and maybe it's because I've been following too many Boise State accounts. Because my goodness, have they been bitching about Maddox Madsen this year? He had a bad game against Notre Dame. He had a bad game against USF. Like, those are two really, really, really good teams. This will be interesting because UNLV they don't have a great defense this year. I mean, that's obvious. The defense continues to be a work in progress. So is this one of those games where Maddox Madsen gets back on track, has a big game? Very well could be. I agree with you that it's going to be a high-scoring game. I will say I was a little surprised by the line.
Yeah.
I thought this might be – I thought this was going to be Boise favored by about a touchdown to 9. I was a little surprised it was over 10. But, when you get into those high-scoring games, like you can get like a 52-38 type game,
Sure.
So we'll see how it goes. And really, for me, this is going to be a defining game for Madsen.
I agree with you.
That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
And I think, I understand Boise being the favorite. I still think UNLV just the way. And I'm not criticizing your pick, but I think
you can disagree with.
No, I don't necessarily disagree because I think Boise State wins, and if their offense is rolling, they can easily win by 2 touchdowns. But UNLV has just had that magic this year. And like I feel like until I see them lose, like I'm not going to believe it. I'm going to think, well, Calandri's just going to bring them back again.
Something's going to happen. Yeah.
So those are my thoughts. I don't have a pick on the game. I don't have anything. I'm not disagreeing with yours or whatever. I'm just really interested to see this game.
Yeah.
And so we've been looking at it. Last year we were looking for it all year.
Yeah.
This year, brand new UNLV team, pretty much.
Right.
And again, it's probably the biggest game. And if UNLV does win this game, to me, that puts them on the path to be like the challenger to to those American conference teams.
Right.
So I'm excited.
So I'm not going to bet this game at 12.5. I am going to bet the over. That's the bet. If you want to bet this game, I like the over a lot better than I like the line for me. So I'm not betting the 12.5, but I'm picking it. All right, I got 2 more, Steve. Hawaii at Colorado State. The upstart Colorado State Rams finding their offense, taking it to the Bulldogs. Underdog here is Hawaii at 2.5. I haven't seen enough from Colorado State to make me believe them. I watched the Fresno Colorado State game. Yes, Colorado State looked fine, but Fresno looked really bad. So I have a lot of faith in this Alejado kid.
Yeah.
The passing game there is very strong, unlike Fresno State, who has a quarterback that likes to throw interceptions.
Yep.
So I'm taking the points. Man, I'm taking a lot of underdogs this week. Close lines, but they're getting points. So I'm taking Hawaii here at plus 2.5. There's nothing about this Rams team that I trust right now. Yes, they got that nice upset win versus Fresno State, but I need to see a lot more from that team before I'm willing to put in any sort of trust that they cover 2.5 or cover anything against a Hawaii team who still has
Scores.
Yeah, who can score and still has absolutely Mountain West Championship potential. They have the one loss to Fresno, but if they can, win out, they can easily make the Mountain West Championship game. And this defense is probably about as good as I've seen from Hawaii since I've been following the Mountain West here very closely for the last, I don't know how many years. But so I like what the only thing here, Steve, is that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing.
Yes.
You always are cautious about Hawaii away.
Yep.
But I just feel like this is a different team. I think that they just have different weapons this year. And I honestly, I have faith in Hawaii. I do.
Yeah, I was surprised at this line. I mean, the 2.5 point favorite, Colorado State being at home, being a 2.5 point favorite. That suggests that Vegas thinks this is basically a coin flip game. That these two teams are pretty evenly matched.
Right.
Other than one flash in the pan game, I haven't seen anything from Colorado State that suggests that they're on the same level as well, that they're just an evenly matched.
Right.
Now, if they play exactly like they played last week, and Hawaii makes some mistakes, with the travel and just they're not quite focused. Yeah, it could. But I was surprised at this line, and I'm not surprised that you're taking the Hawaii plus 2.5 because honestly, I think Hawaii may win this game by a touchdown or more. And, and the way they score, but we'll see. I mean.
The games that I have been the most surprised about over the last couple of weeks have completely gone the other way. Yes. So I don't want to be too surprised by this line. But I'm definitely I will be betting Hawaii getting points.
Yeah.
Last one, Nevada at New Mexico. The Wolfpack just looking for another win. I don't think they're able to get it here with the Lobos. Line 11.5, a little higher than I would like it to be. I don't like it being double digits here. But I'm going to take the Lobos to cover the 11.5. Just struggle to throw the ball there, do the Wolfpack. Lots of interceptions. They have talent. They just can't put it all together. They got blown out by the Aztecs. And you just kind of wonder where these kids' heads are at now. Halfway through, only one win. Lost some games they easily could have won. They're getting blown out now by some teams. I just kind of wonder where they're at, and hopefully their head's right, but it's easy to kind of just lose it right at this point in the season. And the Lobos still have a lot to play for. 3-3, absolutely looking for bowl eligibility. I think they get it this year, and I'm happy to take the home favorite minus 11.5. Again, like I say, a little higher than I would like, but I'll take them.
Yeah, I don't really have much comment other than to say, who would have thought New Mexico coming another rebuild year?
Yeah.
That at this point they would be double digit favorites over a fellow Mountain West team.
Yeah.
Halfway through this season. That's
Good point.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, let's talk about. I have two left. I have Washington State and NIU. I know Steven's still hanging on. He's waiting for me to pick that game, but we're going to hit Washington State at Virginia. Remember, I took Washington State getting 33.5 last week versus Ole Miss. They didn't need 30 of them. I think it was a 3-point game or something like that. And this is a 17-point game. I'm taking the points again with Wazoo. I think they keep this much closer than 17 points. A little worried about the travel now. They've traveled once here to Ole Miss. Now they're traveling again back to the East Coast at Virginia. But it's a good team, and I think they keep this within 17. So, again, taking Wazoo with the points. I mean, they really haven't let me down, so let's keep taking points with them.
Yeah, I saw some of that Ole Miss Washington State game.
Okay.
Washington State, they looked like they were matched up very well. Like, I mean, it did not look like a struggling Pac team versus a top tier, top 5
Right.
SEC team in the country.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely shocked. Honestly, there were points in that when Washington State played the Huskies where they looked really good. Now,
Okay.
the Huskies pulled away later in the game. So I get it. Washington State, I think, the way they've performed in a bunch of games, they've overperformed what their record is, I think. Like you said, though, the travel going back and forth, twice, that could be a little rough. We'll see. But I don't have any complaint with your pick.
Miners scoring again. They're up 20-10.
Wow.
I mean, I'm wearing the shirt, so
you
go
go.
Miners go. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
All right, last one. NIU at Ohio. NIU just struggling to score here. Very little pass offense. The line, 11.5. I struggled with this one a ton. But I do like NIU's defense. You saw, the Aztecs 6-3 versus the Aztecs. And the Aztecs, they're showing they can put up points. So I'm actually going to take the 11.5. I think Ohio wins this game, but I think the Huskies are able to keep it within 10 because of their defense and thus cover the spread. But at the same time, I could see Ohio winning by a lot.
Yeah.
So my trust is in the Husky defense here to keep it a low-scoring game, thus taking the 11.5. But the Huskies won't score many points.
Yeah,
Take the under.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but take the under.
Yeah, you could definitely see this game being like a 13-3, 16-6, kind of game. So I understand why you're taking all those points, but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say other than I hope Northern Illinois, they got to figure out something on offense, have something going as that they can take into next year, some positive momentum on offense at some point.
Yeah, a team that I think of course they lost some players through the transfer portal. They knew that. Teams, like you said, it happens.
Yep.
I don't think they thought this is where they were going to be at, especially on offense, struggling like they are. And I know Husky fans are getting a little anxious, getting a little frustrated.
The defense is solid. If they could pair that up, I would say an above average defense. If they could pair that up with just a competent offense,
right,
they'd be a lot better than they are right now.
All right, well there they are, Steve with his 3 ice cold locks. I of course am staying away from them yet again, but throwing out some over picks in the Wyoming Air Force and UNLV Boise game. I am going to be down in Tarleton State. I actually don't know how much I'm actually going to see of any of these Mountain West games because I have a very full schedule for me ready to go down at Tarleton, going to a bonfire on Friday night. It's homecoming, so they've got a parade. I'm actually going to be having lunch with the president down there and the AD. Have an interview lined up with Steve Urias again. He's been on the channel a few times. Going to be able to take a tour. I will do my best of getting videos and pictures so that we can get a tour episode up like we did at UNLV for Tarleton, because y'all need to see some of this stuff. It's a great campus. I haven't been there, but I've seen pictures. Looks like it's going to be a great campus. Going to have a lot of fun. Looking I'm really looking forward to it. Still undefeated.
Yeah.
And they're playing West Georgia. Go Texans.
The new playoff rankings just came out. They're
Yep.
number 3. That's an excellent position to be in.
Yep.
I will be home sitting on my butt most of the day. We do have a local fair going on that I might go
Yes.
check out in the morning, but from noon on, I will be on my rear end, on my couch, watching all these games. And I actually plan on, there's a lot of cool Big Ten games going on, and I'll be following those throughout the day, checking in. But I actually plan on, if I can, I'm going to watch the entire UNLV Boise game.
Okay.
I just think it's such an important game.
Yeah.
For the country, for the Mountain West, for our channel.
Right.
And I'm excited to see it. So I'll pick up your slack this week.
I
for
would
the Mountain
appreciate
West. And I'll be in the chat for our members that are in the Discord. I'll be in that all day. I'll be bouncing around between the Mountain West channel, the Big Ten channel, and I'll definitely be talking UNLV Boise for sure.
Nice. Well, you have to fill me in. I'm hoping I can see some of the San Jose State Utah State game, probably the second half of that game on Friday, and catch the Nevada New Mexico game Saturday night. Outside of that, I'm not sure if I'm going to see much Mountain West football, which is going to be weird because all I've done for the past month and a half is watched Mountain West football. Well, but I'm super excited for the visit to talk to Steve.
Yeah, enjoy your time at Tarleton.
And then week after that, I will be at the Border War. So while I might miss some Mountain West, I'll be on site in Laramie.
Can't beat that.
Rams versus Pokes a week from Saturday. So yeah, love and life. Hey, thank you guys for watching this guy. Always appreciate all the chat going on in the cellar. Smash that like button on the way out, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.